companies have in common is they collect your personal information and then resell or share it with others. I honestly did not think there could be a worse thing to ask a woman you don't know than, are you pregnant? But you are pregnant, want to know who I paid to find out, has certainly entered the chat.
John Oliver's breakdown of data brokers was phenomenal, and I already broke that down in another video. But really the problem with these data brokers, aside from the damage they cause to individuals, is almost no one knows how to beat them. But today we're going to recap what to do, how they work, and the tools that can help on the journey. Make sure to watch the entire video because there are 3 phases and kind of a bonus 4th that I threw in required to beat them, and you need all of them to actually get all the benefits. The first phase is discovery, and like anything, we need to have a baseline before we kind of start chucking around and doing things and figuring out what we're doing. We need that baseline to be able to compare where we start and where we go. I find the easiest way to do this is with automated tools. You can do some very basic checks for leaked things like your emails and your passwords using tools like Have I Been Pwned. Now, to go beyond the basic data points that Have I Been Pwned looks into, I really like tools like DeleteMe that allow me to get all of my personal information into the service so that it can actually scan the internet for almost everything that I can pretty much give it. So automated tools like DeleteMe can really make it nice and actually give you numbers and other things you can do to kind of gauge where you're at and also track where you are over time. Now, there are some manual methods as well, though unfortunately many of these require you going into your search engine and typing in basic information about yourself and trying to see where you end up on these different people searching websites. I would encourage you to maybe use something like a spreadsheet to kind of track the main things that you find about yourself, what data points exist about you on those websites, and anything else to help you track where you're at right now so that you can see your progress over time. I really recommend going automated, but for those of you who want that manual route, you still have that option. Now again, we want to start with discovery for a baseline, or else you can't see your improvements for us to beat the data brokers and see what kind of progress you're making. Automated tools like DeleteMe do a great job of breaking down the numbers, which is something that's helped me on my journey, so I can easily compare to my baseline to see how I'm doing. But if you don't want to use automated tools, you have the manual route as well, but try to incorporate some kind of scoring system or way to kind of keep yourself in the loop on where you're at in your journey, even if you go the manual route. Phase 2 is deletion. Now, deletion, in my opinion, is the hardest part of this journey because it really can feel like whack-a-mole, and it's really hard to find a source of who's holding your data. A lot of data brokers get data from other data brokers, so there is a bit of a hierarchy to this where if you can kill the parent, then maybe the children will be taken care of too, but it's hard to know which ones they are in the context of data brokers. So again, we're going to go back to the automated versus manual routes. The automated way are tools, again, like DeleteMe, which will take care of most, if not all, of this phase for you. You're going to put in your information. It's going to send out all the requests to all the major data brokers. They have all the information in regards to like which ones to target, and they can do it on behalf of you, and it's all done behind the scenes, which is really nice. As someone who values my time, this was a no-brainer, and it's what I've been doing. However, there's always the manual way. I'm going to include a lot of links down in the description from different resources I've seen over the years that can really help you probably get pretty darn far manual in terms of deleting your data from all these data brokers and actually getting it off these damn websites. You have the manual route again, which allows you to have more control over things and also allows you to save money. But on the other hand, it's probably going to take a lot of time. I feel it can be a little bit less foolproof than something like an automated service, which has people working on behalf of you. Whereas again, the automated service, a lot more convenient and a lot more just taken care of for you, and it allows you to focus on other things, which is what I like the most about it.
Yeah, if we're creating a profile that we know is of us, that we know is we're going to use in social media or some very public facing manner, try not to use the same email that you use for other for other applications or areas, because that will make it harder for them to do the easiest and most dumb correlation between information that they have already about us and information that we're producing in a completely different realm that we might not want attached to our personal identity.
So at this point, you've discovered what data you had, and you've gone ahead and deleted hopefully as much of it, if not all of it, that you could. And now, as Rob just said, who's the CEO of DeleteMe, there are data points that, if they still exist, are going to sadly lead to your data ending right back on the data broker sites. So we need to make sure that we are actually implementing good privacy and security prevention techniques to make sure that your data stays off of those websites going forward. Now, everything that Rob said, I think is a great starting point. And if you're not covering those bases, that's really where you should be starting. Passwords, aliasing your emails, aliasing your phone numbers, aliasing card information. Now, in terms of aliasing services, our website techlore.tech/resources actually details several of them. Simple Login and ADIO are both for email aliasing, and then MySudo is for phone numbers, and privacy.com helps alias your debit and credit card transactions online. My personal workflow, which I can very highly recommend as it works very conveniently and very simply, is I use Proton Pass, which actually integrates with Simple Login. So I just have Proton Pass as my password manager, and it aliases my emails. I have MySudo for a phone number, and then I also use privacy.com to alias my debit card transactions. That takes care of your 3 core data points. Now, there are tons of other services, like I've seen Cloaked, there's ADIO, there are many other aliasing services out there, so you're gonna have to play around with the ones that you enjoy and that fit your use case. At the end of the day, as long as you're avoiding your real data going to a majority of services, you're overall winning. So at this point, you're thinking, okay, I've taking care of those, so I'm good, right? And I'd say, well, the basics are a massive help, but I think that there are some steps that can take us a bit further. First, deleting accounts and services that are just clearly problems, particularly social media platforms that are directly linked to your identity. I highly suggest just deleting them. If not, limiting your usage of them or changing information on them. Anything you can do to mitigate the kind of data they can collect and share about you is a big help. I recommend deleting these services in the first place, but there are lots of middle grounds for you that exist as well. The second more advanced tip is making sure to opt out of any kind of data sharing on all of your existing accounts, especially those, again, that have your real identity. So those are gonna be things like the privacy opt-outs that you're gonna see in your privacy settings, and just making sure you do your best to actually customize things that you do utilize. And my third advanced tip is a little bit more comprehensive and sadly not as specific, but you need to ensure that you're using other privacy and security tools that can sometimes really help in random places. So for example, a privacy-oriented browser may already block some of the trackers and other methods of tracking users that a data broker might be utilizing to spy on you via third-party sites or anything of that nature. Another example is an end-to-end encrypted messenger can prevent the scenario where a company like Facebook is using your contacts and other information about your Facebook Messenger interactions to correlate your friends and family to share that information with data brokers. Finally, I do want to mention that the Big Ass Data Broker opt-out list, author Yale actually recommends a few extra things that you can do here in terms of opting out and the general places that you want to opt out of to also help along on this journey as well. A lot of the data that data brokers collect are actually a unique look into where we fall short on our privacy and security journeys. So even though we really hate these data brokers, they're super stubborn, I wish they didn't exist, they can still teach us something about the limitations of what we're doing in our current journey. So our Become Anonymous guide and our course Go Incognito are great places to go for more thorough privacy and security advice that might take you a step further in dealing with this issue. Okay, Henry, that was a lot of info, so let's go through that again. With all 3 phases out of the way, hopefully you discovered how much of your data is out there, you successfully removed most, if not all, of that data that you found, and now you found a way and a workflow to prevent it from coming back. Again, I highly recommend going with the automated tools like DeleteMe. It's what I do. It deals with discovery and deletion, so you can be freed up to deal with the prevention. Because I feel like you have 3 phases to worry about. It's so much work. If you take care of the first 2 via those automated tools, I personally think it's worth the cost. And that way I just deal with the prevention, which is what I've been doing for the last several years. And I've had a lot of luck with that workflow. Now there's a hidden 4th phase, which is to get involved politically. There's actually a lot of things that laws can do to help regulate these companies, not just track as much data as they do, but give you clearer opt-outs so you can actually delete your data a little bit easier. Now, ABIND, the people who developed DeleteMe, are actually doing a lot of lobbying to help support this cause, and they've been a big part of this movement in the US. But you all can also be a part of this fight by voting and calling representatives who speak about this glaring problem. So please get involved. Take care of yourself, right? Take care of yourself first if you want. Take care of that discovery, deletion, and prevention, but also make sure you're getting involved socially and as a public, because we need to be extending that to other people and making other people safe. You can also do that by sharing this video with anyone you know, because honestly, everybody's impacted by data brokers. Doesn't matter who it is, especially in the US. they are on a data broker list. And so anybody who sees this information will get benefit from it. Now, I want to thank DeleteMe for not only the work they've been doing to help this problem, but also for partnering with us on this video to help educate people on data brokers and what can be done about them. I want to thank all of you for watching. I want to thank our patrons who are on the bottom of the screen right now for supporting our work. I also want to thank you for being here, for taking your digital safety and digital rights a little bit more seriously, and just making this a small part of your life. So thank you for being here. I appreciate all of you, and I'll see you next time on Techlore. Make sure to check out everything in the description to kind of get yourself oriented before you go on this journey. It can be a fun one. See you next time.